times, it feels like Rome is more like an open-air museum than a city. It's so full of monuments, statues and buildings from its imperial past. Every year, around 12 million people come here to see what's left of the splendor that once made ancient Rome the capital of the known world. And much of that success is down to this man, Augustus, who hugely expanded the empire when he became Rome's first emperor in 27 BC. He's gone down in history as the man who secured Rome's path to superpower status. And like every dictator, he wanted his capital city to be the grandest and most impressive in the world. Many of the monuments he instructed to be built here still stand to this day. But some have fared less well than others, like his once lavish family mausoleum. For years it's been laying derelict, desperate for some care and attention. But as Italy fights to save its economy and pay its bills, the restoration and preservation of its sites like these have suffered. It's hard to believe that in its heyday these walls were 3 times higher than they are now, and they were covered in white marble. But over the years that marble has been stolen and this place has been literally left to fall apart. But things are about to change. Now, 2,000 years after Augustus's death, €2 million of public money has finally been made available to kickstart the cleanup before the site reopens to tourists in 2016. But while €2 million will help, far more money is needed to look after sites like these. And with the country's national debt running into trillions of euros, the government has had to come up with another approach to protecting Rome's past.
My vision would be impossible to do all the things that we need to do in order to keep the value of our monuments, because we are the center in Italy of an incredible economical crisis, and you know, I have the responsibility to take care of a lot of social emergency, and I really need to look somewhere else in order to gather the resources.
And this new funding model appears to be paying off. In 2012, the stonework on Rome's Trevi Fountain, famously featured in Federico Fellini's La Dolce Vita, needed some serious attention to save it. And thanks to a €2 million cash injection from the fashion house Fendi, fronted by Karl Lagerfeld, there's now money available to maintain this iconic masterpiece. Similarly, the Spanish Steps were rescued by luxury jeweller Bulgari. And Rome's most iconic building, the Colosseum, hasn't been immune from the funding crisis. The 2,000-year-old monument has been in need of restoration for decades, and in a controversial move, the billionaire Diego della Valle stumped up the money to fund the project.
A shoe manufacturer, a very wealthy, very nice man named Diego della Valle, contributed something like $40 million. He said recently to me, it took me 4 years and 3 different cabinet ministers to get that accepted. Why? Because many of the Italian, some of the best art historians and archaeologists feared that there would be too much blatant publicity.
But should the future of buildings that have stood for 2,000 years rest on the whim of a fashion designer or luxury global brand? And how long before their logos start appearing on walls like these?
I think that it is inevitable that that will happen, but it must be carefully governed.
Indeed, some donors have asked for recognition for their contributions, but so far they've been minimal. The Japanese investor behind the renovation of the Pyramid of Cestius has asked for a small plaque bearing his name, and Fendi has requested a similar gesture on the Trevi Fountain. But the Mayor of Rome insists that billboard advertising is not part of the plan. So will we expect to see shoes advertised all over the mausoleum?
No. Actually, I'm glad that you raised this point, because we are looking for pure philanthropic help, so there will be no advertisement on the Colosseum, and the same will happen for the Trevi Fountain. We have the responsibility to keep all these and to give the proper resources in order that generation after us will continue to enjoy this incredible archaeological richness.